Hi. I wanted to do just a little bit of an introduction about, who I am, why I'm running this channel and such. So, to start with, I'm going to have this auto battle going on in the background simply so you're not looking at a blank screen. So, to start with, I go by Paxson in the game. I don't tend to give anybody my real name or anything. I've had some bad experiences in the past, so I'm a little paranoid about security. Unfortunately, I also don't know all that much about security, so hopefully I'm not doing anything that jeopardizes that. I first came across Puzzles and Conquest in September of 2020, I believe it was. I was playing some other game and an ad came up, and what they showed looked cool. And they said, I can't remember now if it said free to play or free to win, but at the time, I was naive. I thought they meant the same thing. So I figured I'd give it a shot. I did not know that it was a lot of player versus player. If I had known, I probably wouldn't have downloaded it. Once I did and I found that out, I was like, well, maybe it won't be so bad. I'll give it a shot. And by the time I realized how bad it could be, it was too late. I was hooked. And it's currently August of 2023 as I'm recording this. So, yes, I've been playing for a while. I started off in K72. Made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. And so I made plans with somebody I met in K72 to start over again in K85 when it opened in December of 2020, which we did. And after I had also started a castle in I want to say 79. I'm not sure, just as a way to go through the beginning stuff again, so I could make sure I did a better job when I started in K85. But we went to K85, started new castles, and that's when I really sort of got annoyed with certain aspects of this game. In the first two kingdoms, when I got my ass handed to me all the time, when I was constantly being bullied, I kind of blamed it on, well, I started the castle late, I didn't grow as fast. In K85, we started our castles within the first 30 minutes of the kingdom opening. We knew what to do for the most part, and we did it well, and still got pushed around. I remember there was a specific incident. It was just before Christmas of 2020, so the kingdom was still fairly new, and I can remember when it was because this was a few days, actually it might have been just after Christmas. My dad had a heart attack just before Christmas, and so I really dove into the game because I couldn't visit him with the restrictions thanks to the pandemic and everything. So I really dove into the game then. And I came online to find a Russian attacking one of my castles. So I reinforced. And then I asked the Russian, why are you doing this? And he said something about, oh, this player insulted me, which was not true because that player hadn't been online for more than a day. And then for some reason, the guy got really pissed off that I was daring to reinforce this castle that he had decided should be raided. And so he called all his friends in, and, including other Russian alliances, and they all banded together and just wailed away on my entire alliance. I ended up having to quit my leadership, transfer my leadership to someone else, and actually leave the alliance before they would stop. Luckily, people tend to have a short-term memory in this game, so while I was unaligned, I searched the map, found a place that was away from the center, but still within the good resource areas. And after 3 days, I took my alliance back and we moved and basically just tried to stay out of everyone's way after that. And along the way, I discovered that I really enjoy helping others learn how to play this game. Despite its faults, I love this game. But so much of it can be really complicated to explain. I forgot to start, I got so distracted, I forgot to start a new thing. I want to make sure y'all have something visually entertaining to watch while you listen to me drone on. And I hit the wrong one. I'm going to die probably. Anyway. I love teaching people this game, but it's difficult to explain things at times using just text. Someone introduced me to Discord, and I started using that, and that helps. You can share screenshots there and everything, and possibly short videos. I haven't had much luck like that with that. My videos keep being too much. The file sizes are too big. So, I was able to help some, but not really enough. And it also depended on people joining the Discord server, which some people don't want to have another app on their phone. Some people have had Discord in the past and had problems. So I wasn't reaching nearly as many people as I'd hoped. Fast forward a couple of years. The thing about Kingdoms is that eventually people move on. They move on to new kingdoms. They stop playing because they lose interest or real life gets in the way. I had to take a pause for a number of months last year, thanks to some health issues, which aren't solved yet, but at least they're better. So my once thriving alliance in Kingdom 85 is now down to maybe 10 active people. A number of us have multiple castles, so we still manage to do all right in events and such, but it's boring. There's not a lot going on. And so I did this once before in K115, I decided to start a new castle in K179. My original intent was that I would start the castle, have the alliance, and then when the kingdom opened to immigration on day 60, I would invite everybody in the alliance to come back to K85 with me. Usually, when I did this in K115, I didn't have too much problems convincing people because once again, there were a lot of bullies in the kingdom who liked to beat up on smaller players. And 2, when the kingdom opens, I won, that's nice. If the leader at the time is not careful about when they open, when they raise, okay. I'm going to back up for a second here. On day 60, the kingdom opens to immigration. At that time, anyone with a C26 or smaller that has enough immigration flights can move to the kingdom. Generally, that's not too bad, though I do know of some C24s that have 700 million might. So it's not as foolproof a system as the developers try and make it out to be. There has been discussions about other limitations. I think they tried them once, but the bullies tend to be the big spenders, and they protested enough that the developer said, fine, we won't do it that way. I do believe there is still, if moving to the new kingdom would put you in the top 10 for might, you have to get permission of the ruler of the kingdom. But if the wrong person is ruler, or if, say, you'll be number 11, it's fine. And then the other thing is, if the ruler can choose to raise that castle limit, And so often, a lot of people do what I'm doing and start new castles and new kingdoms. And so if they're planning on bringing their alliance in, they sometimes raise it quite high, and they tend to do it at predictable times. And so people that you don't necessarily want to move in jump in as well. At which point, I remember when K85 opened, I went from being ranked 12th in the kingdom to being ranked 136th in 48 hours because of all the bigger castles that moved in. And it sucks. And that's usually a good time to convince people to move to an older kingdom, more stable, where things are nicer. But this time, there are a lot of people on their umpteenth castle in K179. And we've all pretty much committed to making this a good kingdom. Despite the fact that we haven't had the first dragon, we've got a full nap. It will drop to the top 30 after the first dragon. Not necessarily because we're bloodthirsty per se, but because people tend to join an alliance and then never leave it, even though they're not getting much. If it may not be a very active alliance, they may not be getting good leadership, they'll still stay there. And unfortunately, a good way to convince people to move to a stronger alliance is for protection. It's not, on the one hand, I don't agree with it. Except for specific player versus player events like Battle of Sarnesia or Valiant Conquest. Well, actually, I don't even like Valiant Conquest that much. It's very rare for me to engage in player versus player attacks. But on the other hand, I also admit that I don't have another way to convince stubborn people to leave dying alliances. Anyway, and we're also going to do our best to time the opening to higher castle levels very carefully so that we bring our people in, but don't get the mean people. So, given all this, I have decided that instead of me trying to convince people to move to K85, I'm going to take my alliance. The active people in K85 are currently working on getting their immigration flights and everything so that they can move to K179. It does unfortunately mean that castles that started in K179 are going to drop in the ranks significantly, which I'm sorry for that. But on the other hand, that's going to happen whether I do it or not because of everybody else doing it. And so, on the other hand, between the castles that I'm going to be bringing in, I have billions in food and wood and such. And so once these big castles come in, people's growth is going to explode if they ask for help. So there's that. Anyway, I got sidetracked down a rabbit hole there. I apologize. I've got a bit of ADHD. So I talked about how the Discord just really wasn't reaching people. So when I started in the New Kingdom, I realized that it was very easy to do what I'm doing right now. Have my phone record the video on my screen while recording my voice. I do realize I'm making some errors in these videos. I'm shifting, the mic is picking up me shifting around, background noises in my house. And I'm not exactly the most eloquent or smoothest speaker. But I am, there are some people watching my videos and they are finding them helpful. So, yay for that. I am not doing this to get money. Even if I wanted to, I'm a long way from it. You have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers before you can start to get money from a channel. And last time I checked, I think it was at 14. But that is not the purpose of this channel. I am going to try to not ask, I'm going to try to not end my videos with please subscribe or make sure you like this video, because I find it annoying when people do that. On the other hand, I'm also getting I'm not doing this for the money, but it would be nice if people would occasionally leave a comment or something about, hey, good video, or thank you, that explains so much, or just something so that I don't feel like I'm just shouting into the void or something. That would be nice. And if it gets to be too much, I might break down and start reminding people, hey, please feel free to say something. But the goal is to not do that. So yeah, I will make these videos and try and do what I can to make them clear and concise, which doesn't go very well. I'm at minute 16 for this one. And I hope people watch these. I hope they learn more about the game, and I hope they enjoy it, and I hope they come to love it as much as I do. And if you're in a kingdom, if you're in K179, or if you want to move to K179, feel free to look up my alliance. People seem to like my leadership most of the time. So as long as you're not a bully or somebody who likes to hurt others or stuff like that. So, alrighties. Well, so yeah, that's me. And well, that is one thing. If anyone has a comment about a better way for me to end these videos, I would really appreciate it, because I just I reach the end and I'm like, okay, how do I end this? What do I do now? So if anyone has any tips, feel free to let me know. So thanks. Laters.